I remember that afternoon in March 2022 when I got a call that it had rained and I needed to be at our office space. I told them I would come later, but the caller and my neighbor insisted. Then I got there. I did not know how to describe what I saw. The rain had blown off the roof. My newly acquired equipment for production for my new business, Mamalak Foods, which I had just taken a huge loan to purchase, was waterlogged, along with everything in the space. We tried to salvage all we could. Unfortunately, nothing could be salvaged. I was going crazy. I logged out of reality. I was suicidal a few times. Daily living was a torture, but I lived each day as it came. My name is Oluwatomisi, and I'm a self-employed mother of 2 beautiful girls. I'll be sharing my story of resilience and how it has helped me to adapt and cope with life challenges. I had my first degree in veterinary medicine and proceeded to specialize in veterinary public health for my second degree. I currently run Mamalak Foods Nigeria Limited, a health-oriented food processing company where we produce lactation breastfeeding supplements to help increase the quality and quantity of breast milk for nursing mothers. We also produce a variety of other products for other members of the family. Although I had tried my hands at some businesses while in university, my self-employment journey started when I came back home after my service year to start a microfinance institution. In fact, I proposed the microfinance model for backyard poultry farmers in an international project I was a part of. I'm sure you are wondering how all of these ventures relate one to another, and how I seem to have veered far away from my course of study. I'm sure some of my audience can relate to studying a different course in school and life leading you on a different career path. After my mandatory 1-year service to my country, the National Youth Service Corps (NYSC) in 2013, I knew I wasn't going to work for anyone, as I already had my path charted out to a large extent. I applied for some volunteer roles with an international organization and I got the job. I worked on a contractual basis in different positions for the next 2 years. During this period, I got my master's degree. I took up the volunteer role because I had my eyes set on working in the development world and I've always been interested in women empowerment. This was the basis of venturing into microfinance and eventually being a part of the project I mentioned earlier. Unfortunately, the microfinance business failed. I got married in September 2018. In October, I tried collaborating with a friend who was trying to launch some innovative agri-tech projects. He needed my expertise as a veterinarian in the development of the project, and also my experience working in the development sector. Unfortunately, we had some disagreement as I realized he wanted an employee without pay, not a business partner, which was not part of our agreement. So I had to walk away from the venture in May 2019 and go back to sit at home. In October 2018, I got pregnant. My husband and I were happy and looked forward to being parents. The joy of being a new mother gave me the strength to pull myself together, and there was hope again. I gradually got myself back. On the evening of February 2019, I felt my water break. I could not get medical help as there was a restriction of movement due to the election. Later in the evening, when I was able to get to a hospital close to our residence, I did a scan and was told my baby was fine, so I need not worry. If only I knew. The following day, I woke up with severe contractions. I never knew I was having contractions. I felt I had stomach trouble. Within minutes, I delivered my almost fully formed baby boy in a pool of my own blood. I had a miscarriage and I was going into shock. It was a grievous experience for us. My husband was grieving, so I had to take charge. I was rushed to the hospital and an evacuation was done. My hope of a companion to pour my energies into was dashed. I fell into the bottomless pit of depression a second time. But this time, I grieved in denial. No, I couldn't have lost my baby. I was in denial for more than 2 years. My siblings rallied around me and raised funds for me. I set up my own microfinance institution and ran it for another 2 years. It was during this period I tested out my microfinance model by running a pilot, and I got a loan from a collaborating partner to fund this. During this period, I got pregnant again and was told I had fibroid. I had a threatened miscarriage and had to spend my first trimester on bed rest. My business boomed without my presence, and then I had to employ someone to help with the pilot microfinance model. And then another trouble struck. The project had its challenges, and I managed everyone from hospital bed. But there was a limit to what direction I could provide from a hospital bed. I had red degeneration in my third trimester. I was rushed to the hospital and was told to prepare for my premature baby. I could no longer adequately monitor the project. I was in severe pain day and night. My PCV was dropping by the day. On March 20, 2020, when my pregnancy was at 32 weeks with a PCV of 14, I had an emergency CS and myomectomy. The journey to recovery was long and tough. I had to learn to walk again as I was almost lifeless. I had postpartum depression and I refused to touch my baby for some days. In addition to all this, I wasn't producing breast milk, especially because of my severe anemia. Due to my hospital stay and complications, I had dipped my hands into my microfinance purse and spent business funds. More so, we had a high default rate for loans given during the early days of COVID-19. It was only a matter of time before we ran into a financial crisis. We also had fraudulent practices by the pilot project recipients because we could not monitor the project due to the different challenges, which led to inability to repay the loan by the collaborating partner. Eventually, I had to face reality. We could no longer give out loans. We tried retrieving the funds outside, and we had to shut down the microfinance institution. It was one of the most heartbreaking decisions I had to make. Coupled with this, my husband and I did not have extra funds, so buying infant formulas wasn't sustainable. I had to breastfeed by all means. I had earlier bought a breastfeeding supplement during one of my antenatal visits, but it was too sugary and didn't work as much as I expected. I saw an opportunity I could improve on. I started doing research and finally got a formula that worked amazingly well. From the feedback I got, it worked and people were willing to buy. By August 1, 2020, Mama Foods had been birthed. I pulled every resource I could and went ahead Mama Foods to register our products with the regulatory agency. It was a grueling 2 years of tears and blood before we got registered. Unfortunately, we had exhausted our funds. I got a loan to procure some equipment and get back on track before you start to think this was my big break. Try to flashback. I remember the incident I narrated at the start of the story about the heavy rain that carried my office space roof and destroyed some newly bought equipment. Yes, you got it. Just as I settled down to scale up my business, the incident I described happened. In May 2022, I made a new friend from one of the online classes I had attended to learn how to improve my business. He suggested I do a free training for nursing mothers on how they can naturally increase their breast milk supply. That decision is the best thing that happened to me in that period. I got about 300 moms together in a WhatsApp group and we had a lovely time. Upon completion, instead of closing up the group, I decided it should remain as a support system. I realized the meaning of the biblical quote that says, "There is more happiness in giving than there is in receiving." The Mama Moms community has been my pillar of support even when they did not realize it. On October 7, 2023, Mama Moms in different locations will be having our very first physical meetup. My husband, my mother, my siblings and my mentors helped me to cope with each of my difficult challenges. It was a tough period. I'm yet to fully get over the experience. As part of our financial recovery plan, I had to reschedule my loans. Another way I coped was applying for different programs to help build my business back. In my third trimester, I was running about 3 intensive programs together. This helped me keep my sanity intact and helped me see different ways I could reestablish my business. On November 19, 2022, I welcomed my second daughter. It has been so much joy providing a safe space for more than 400 moms to share their challenges and provide help to them. It gladdens my heart anytime I receive feedback that they were able to exclusively breastfeed because of the support of the community and our brand, Mama Products. Although we still have our struggles, we are glad we are making an impact in our own way.